Hi everyone, this is Weekly Wisdom. I'm Father Mario, and this week I have with me our evangelization coordinator, Mike Chamberlain, and we want to give you a preview of what's going to be coming up this coming Friday with the Fireside Q&A. So first of all, Mike, tell us where the idea came from. We've been doing some pretty cool things here at the parish. We've had Light the Night just last week. Now the Fireside Q&A is coming up. So is this all the product of this?
No.
This mind? No,
definitely not. I thought you were talking about my hair. No, it's definitely more the product of the evangelization committee. They're a group of awesome people that have putting together all of these types of awesome events. And honestly, the idea came up just kind of as an idea of something outdoor, something that's kind of an easy thing to invite friends to. People that necessarily maybe more intimidated to go to church or mass. Maybe they have questions about the faith, but you know, it's kind of an easy entryway point is what it's meant to be. And so they kind of came up with this idea like, hey, why don't we get some people together? We'll sit outside. We can have people bring their own beer or wine or whatever, bring their own blankets and lawn chairs. And we can kind of just talk about the faith and have some answers to questions that people have, you know? So that's kind of where that came from.
So what's the schedule for the evening? What does it look like?
Oh, that's a good question. I might have to cut and do an edit. Hold on.
All right, Mike, and kind of what's the schedule for the evening? What does it look like?
Yeah.
All right, so Mike, what does the evening look like? What's the schedule?
So we figured 8:30 to 10 o'clock-ish or so would be kind of our time frame for the large portion of the night. 8:30 to like 8:45, we probably people will gather and they'll grab a spot or a chair. We will have some snacks. We will have some water available throughout the entire night. We'll have some chips and stuff. But please feel free as your family to bring whatever it is you'd like to bring. You know what I mean? If that means an alcoholic beverage or just whatever it might be, or some snacks, feel free to bring any of that. So for the first 15 minutes or so, we'll kind of just gather. People grab seats, kind of just network and talk to people and stuff. Mm-hmm. And then probably for about 8:45 till 10 o'clock, our plan is to answer questions. And so we actually have a couple buckets that we have that have, you know, question and answer on them. So people will feel free to submit kind of like a written question. We'll have slips of paper so they can ask a question anonymously in case there's something they really want to ask, but they don't want to be known for asking it, you know? And then also kind of off the cuff, we'll answer some questions probably later on after we've kind of dissolved or gotten rid of most of the written down questions and answers, you know?
Okay.
So
is this meant to be an evening? Is it for families? Is it for, you know, people who are coming back to the church? For both?
Kind of for both. I would say it's not so much for family. It's we put it at the time frame we did because we love young children, but we figured that this type of format was not probably conducive for young children. You know, most times they're in bed already by then. So if you can get a babysitter and come on out and join us, that'd be awesome. Really 18 and up, anyone who has questions of faith, anyone who's maybe a devout Catholic that just has questions, somebody who's not Catholic at all, never dawned the door of a church and just wanted to hear what we believe about stuff, anyone is welcome to join us.
All right, so we wanted to give you a little taste of perhaps some of the questions that will be asked coming up on Friday evening at 8:30, from 8:30 to 10. So one of the questions that we asked a college student to put together some questions perhaps that if we don't have enough questions or whatever, some normal questions that college students have so that we could answer those. And so here's one of the questions. For someone coming back to the faith and who are unsure about how to start praying, how should one start without feeling superficial, inauthentic, or just plain awkward? So, Mike, what would you say? Someone who's just starting to pray again.
Yeah. You know, I think it says coming back to the faith, so I'm kind of assuming that person might already have known, maybe they have memorized the Our Father, the Hail Mary, Glory Be, some of those basic kind of things that we know. And I think those are great. Those are foundational. You know, they're great prayers to kind of lean back on when you kind of just don't know what to say, you know. Beyond that, I would just say just being sincere and honest. I know around the time of my own confirmation, I felt like it was weird that I didn't pray because I just didn't. So I started just saying, that's weird, and I should pray at night before I went to bed. And so I started. And to be honest, I kind of just said this one little plaque prayer that I had that was I got from my first communion, and it was hung above my bed, and I never looked at it until that time. And I started to just kind of pray that, and then I just would talk to God. God, I'm frustrated about this. God, I'm really happy. Thank you for this. God, this person is really annoying to me. What should I do about that? I just kind of spoke. I just talked. And then I would sit and kind of just be quiet a little bit too. And that started me off into a rhythm of prayer, which It sounds so simple and basic, but I think that's why we have trouble with it, is because it's so simple sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, what do you think? What do you say?
Yeah, I would kind of echo what you said, and this is a question that's not only relevant to people coming back to the faith, but it's a question that I'm asked all the time. You know, people in confession or people who come in for different, spiritual counseling. They ask, how can I pray? What can I do to strengthen my prayer life, my relationship with the Lord? And the simple answer is doing exactly what you said. I tell people all the time that, it's a heart speaking to heart. It's just being open and honest with God. So many times we feel like we have to approach prayer so formally, saying like, using big language and that, because we feel like we have to impress God. But taking that quiet time and just allowing our heart to speak to God's heart, and then having that time to pray and to reflect. We don't many times allow the Lord to speak to our hearts, or we feel like we just get distracted or whatever. I promise you, if you're faithful to that prayer, God will speak, and you might not notice it in that time. You might not hear God's voice, booming right then. But if you don't hear anything at that point, as you go out about your day and you reflect back on that time, I promise you'll notice something, and God speaks to us in the whispers. He speaks to us in the silence, the scripture says. So we have to allow our heart to speak to his heart, and just to be faithful. So that's one of the questions that, we were given to answer. And we know that there are a lot of questions on people's hearts. So Mike, if somebody's sitting at home right now and they're thinking, I really want to go to, the Campfire Q&A, but they're thinking like, I don't know what kind of question to ask. Give us a couple more examples of questions.
Sure, yeah. One here, it says, why can't priests and religious sisters get married? Very simple question. I know Muslims don't believe in Jesus, but aren't they praying to the same God? We believe that Jewish people pray to the same God. I thought the Catholic Church wasn't against people drinking alcohol, so why is getting drunk a sin? Mm-hmm. Just some great questions. There's a lot more from here too, and more that hopefully you'll come and bring to that night as well. So,
Yeah, so these questions and many more, think about it, pray about it. We do hope you join us again this Friday, August 4th, the Feast of St. John Vianney, 8:30 p.m. back on the sports fields. See you then.